3, 2, 1. Hello. Tonight we are going to be looking at systems of inequalities. We've already looked at these two things separately. We looked at systems, but just of equations, and we looked at where they would cross, or if they're parallel, or if they were the same line. We've also looked at inequalities in terms of graphing them separately. Tonight we're going to look at combining the two together. Our two inequalities that we'll look at are going to be y is greater than or equal to x plus 5. We'll keep it fairly basic. Our second one I'm going to draw over here, and you'll see y after we start drawing, and is y is less than, how about negative 2x? No, we'll leave it just like that. Let's do plus 1. Alright, so here we go. First off, go ahead, we got to get this on a grid, so go ahead and spend some time. If you have graph paper, I would recommend it, but you don't absolutely need it. I won't be using it, clearly. And all we're going to do, so if you wanted to get a step ahead, I'm just going to graph both of these, which is what we've been practicing so far. First off, step 1, I like to think about whether or not this first equation is going to be a dotted line or a not dotted line. And because it's an equal to on the bottom, it's going to be a solid line. So just remind yourself, solid. And then over here, because there's no equal to, this is just a greater than, technically less than symbol. So this is going to be a dotted line. Alright, so now we just go back to what we know about equations and graph it as if it was an equation. I know that it's going to be crossing at 5 right here, and that my slope is just 1. So it'll look something similar to, oh goodness, there we go. There we go. So I've graphed x plus 5, or y equals x plus 5. Over here, let's graph y is less than negative 2x plus 1. So I'm going to put a plus 1 right here. That's a 1. And we knew from before it's going to be a dotted line. So let's see, my slope is a negative 2x, so it's going down a bit sharper. So you have a dotted line going down like so. Make sure it crosses the right y-intercept. Then you have a line similar to this. You can still put arrows on it. There we go. Alright, our next step is to figure out whether we are shading above or below on each of them. Now, an easy point to always choose is the 0, 0 point. That's fairly simple to put into the equation. So let's try this one out here. Let's see, so 0, 0. If y is 0, is that greater than or equal to 0 if x is 0 plus 5? Is 0 greater than or equal to 5? I'll let you ponder that thought just a moment. Turns out no, 0 is not greater than 5. This is not actually going to be a solution point. And then what I recommend in class is to go ahead and choose a different point, maybe one of these ones up here. Could be any point. And what you'll find, like I was showing, is that these will be a solution all up here. So what we'll do is, let's see, use some highlighters. And we know that everything above the line is a solution. So you'd shade in above the line like this. And you can get all the way down next to the line. Alright, so that's our solution for just graphing y is greater than x plus 5. Let's try this other one over here. I'm going to use a different color, green. Well, actually red first. Let's try 0, 0 and see if it's true on this one. So I'm going to try 0, 0. Again, you could choose any point. below or a point above. We're just simply finding out whether it's a solution or not. If y is 0, let's see, is that less than a negative 2 times 0 plus 1? Is 0 less than 1? And in this case, once you think it through, you think to yourself, why, yes, 0 is less than 1, so this is a solution point. So you could put a star there, which then means if I were to choose anything else, it would also be a solution on this side of the graph as well. So let's go ahead and shade that in. So anything below the line is going to be a solution. And again, get as close as you can to the line without going over. Sometimes more easier said than done. Okay, so what I just done is nothing new so far. But now this next step is going to be our first new step. We want to know the systems. And when you think back to systems, it's really the idea of when do they share the same points. Well, the fun thing about these guys is it gets fairly colorful. So if I were to take this first graph, let's see, I'll need some more room, and the second graph, we're going to essentially combine them together. Let's see how I can make this happen. Come on down. Oh, let's see if I have everything. I can take this guy and slide it. Ooh, I did. There we go. Keep going. Keep going. And then you essentially keep sliding it. And slowly but surely, whoops, don't do that, guy. Oh goodness, let's try this again. One more time. Try grabbing it from way over here. This is much easier to show in class. Alright, so I'm going to put this right up on top of the other equation. Okay, almost there, over. Alright, here we go. Okay, so now what's fun to kind of see is that the solution ends up being anywhere that they overlap, which is, okay, let's see if I have another color. I guess I shall do this black. This corner right here is the corner that, whoops, overlaps and would be our official answer. So anything in this corner is our final answer. Now it's kind of strange, and you think, how can I just leave my answer as like a shaded drawing? And that's really what it is. When you're graphing inequalities, this is what it ends up being. So in this mess here, take a moment. There we go. Our solution would just be this black section right here. So if you wanted to, sometimes people like to draw an arrow and then say black. Goodness, it's going slow, equals solution. Which I would recommend doing. Otherwise, you can't tell if you were to just look at the graph what you actually want as your answer. So that would be really it. Now it's a little bit strange, I know. We're going to be practicing this some more. Again, what we just looked at was systems of inequalities. And really the only new part of it was actually just once you had two separate ones here and there, that you put them on top of each other. What I look for then is, do you have the correct area shaded, as well as do you have the right dotted line and the solid line, and the y-intercepts. If you want more practice before tomorrow, if you go to bigideasmath.com,